Discussion questions.
Sort of. Yeah, in a way. All right, let's come back as a group here. The do now, right? So, is it better for leaders to be liked or for them to be feared? Wendy, Martha, and then Arwa.
I said that it's better for leaders to be feared due to when they're feared, then their people, they like comply a lot more. So it's like obedience, and they respect them, and no one wants to get out of line. But just because they're feared doesn't mean that they don't treat them well. You know, they could be feared, but then have like hegemony and be kind to them, but they still have like an amount of fear.
Good. Sounds like you've already read some Machiavelli. Martha.
I'm like in between both because
Okay.
I feel like it's like for our parents, we fear them, but they don't treat us badly, but like their respect is there, you know. I feel like it'd be better to be feared because then like you have those when sometimes people take advantage of you being nice, you know, and so they're like, oh, she's nice, she won't do anything if I do this or if I do that.
Right.
But if like I think you can have a balance between being feared and having respect for others. Like you're just like they fear you because of the things you do, but like if you do them for a good reason, then I think that it's fine.
Good. Arwa and then Tony.
I think it's better for leaders to be feared because it makes people take you seriously and make them understand that you mean business. And also, I said I would want people to fear me because I want to be a CEO, and I'd want the people I work with to understand that I'm not joking around.
Yeah. I like that. Tony, what
I
about
wanted
you?
to add on that. Isn't this asking would you rather be liked, not saying that you're necessarily nice?
True. Yeah, you can be liked without being nice. I think that that's fair. Yeah.
I said I'd rather be liked.
You'd rather be liked than feared. Okay. What about other people? Would you rather, if you were the teacher or if you were the principal of Oakland Charter High School, would you want the other students here or the students here to like you or to be a little bit afraid of you? Arwa.
Afraid, for
Afraid?
sure.
Okay.
Because I feel like for teachers who are liked, especially by the students a lot, the students completely take advantage of them. That's definitely what
Yeah.
happens.
Martha?
Okay, back to middle school. Ariana knows our middle school principal, she was feared by everyone. Like, no one would look at her in the eye. Like, no one could, like, look at her directly in the eye. She was, like, scary.
Yeah.
She'd call your parents on the spot.
Yeah.
But, like, for some reason, they liked her.
Right.
Like, people liked her, but they feared her at the same time.
Right.
And it was, like, that balance, you know? Like, she doesn't joke around, but, like, she's nice.
What young people need is boundaries, and they need consistency, and they need clarity, right? So one of the issues I think I have with me personally is, you know, you guys have seen it. I can scold you guys, you know, focus. But as far as like punishment, and giving detentions, and things like that, I'm very lenient, right? This is an AP class, so I don't really have any issues with you guys. But in my other classes over my 2 years here, there's been times where my leniency has been taken advantage of. And that's what we're going to look at today, but we're going to look at it in the political sense. Okay? So go ahead and turn to your handouts here. Yes. I don't, but I can give you a stapled copy. Trade you. All right. So, excerpt from The Prince by Niccolo Machiavelli. Niccolo Machiavelli was an Italian Renaissance historian, politician, and writer based in Florence. His masterpiece, The Prince, published in 1532, advises new princes on how to get and retain power by any means necessary. So Machiavelli is a Renaissance philosopher. So we're studying the Renaissance, and he is, I think, probably the best philosopher to come out of the Renaissance, in my view, at least when it comes to political philosophy. And so what type of political systems did we have in the 1500s? Did we have democracies going on? No. Who was in charge?
The monarchy.
Yeah, the king and queen. So that's what we call what?
A monarchy.
Monarchy, right? So another word for it is dictatorship, right? Nobody's voting these folks into power. The king is the king. because he was the prince. He was the son of the prior king. And then that king died, now he's the king. So here is Machiavelli's advice. Concerning cruelty and clemency means kindness. Concerning cruelty and clemency, and whether it is better to be loved than feared. So that's the essential question today. Is it better to be loved or feared? Coming now to the other qualities mentioned above, I say that every prince ought to desire to be considered kind, clement, and not cruel. Nevertheless, he ought to take care not to misuse this clemency or kindness. Caesar Borgia was considered cruel. Notwithstanding, his cruelty reconciled the Romania, unified it, and restored it to peace and loyalty. So being cruel can lead to order and unity. It can be successful. And if this be rightly considered, he will be seen to have been much more merciful than the Florentine people, who, to avoid a reputation for cruelty, permitted Pistoia to be destroyed. Then these other folks, they were too lenient, and they got destroyed, right? Therefore, a prince, so long as he keeps his subjects united and loyal, ought not to mind the reproach of cruelty. Because with a few examples, he will be more merciful than those who, through too much mercy or kindness, allow disorders to arise, from which follow murders or robberies. For these are wont to injure the whole people, whilst those executions which originate with a prince offend the individual only. So with your partner, I want you to take 1 minute. What is the central idea of that first paragraph? Take out the fancy language. What is Machiavelli really saying there? Okay?
Cruelty, and being merciful. How do you say it? No, merciful means you're merciless. Yeah, being merciless is the best decision. Clemency sometimes it's best, and that's what he's saying here.
All right, let's come back as a group. What is Machiavelli saying in that first paragraph? Tracy, what is Machiavelli saying there?
He's saying that it's okay to be cruel, that it's not a bad thing, because with you giving out too much mercy, you're allowing disorder to arise.
Right. So cruelty can be justified if it's going to maintain order and unity, whereas being overly lenient, you can do whatever you want. Then all of a sudden you're going to have murder, robbery, chaos, anarchy, right? Like in the Starburst game. What happened when Mr. Reynolds left the room, right? It was chaotic. Okay? All right, let's go to paragraph 2 here. Paragraph 2 on page 2. So this gets into the heart of the question. Upon this, a question arises, whether it be better to be loved than feared or feared than loved. So what's better, to be loved or feared? It may be answered that one should wish to be both, but because it's difficult to unite them in one person, it is much safer to be feared than loved, when of the two either must be dispensed with. Because this is to be inserted in general of men. So this is what's true of human beings, that they are ungrateful, fickle, false, meaning they lie, cowardly, covetous, meaning they want what they don't have, and as long as you succeed, they are yours entirely. They will offer you their blood, property, life, and children, as is said above, when the need is far distant. But when it approaches, they turn against you. And that prince, who relying entirely on their promises, has neglected other precautions, is ruined. Because friendships that are obtained by payments, and not by greatness or nobility of mind, may indeed be earned, but they are not secured, and in time of need cannot be relied upon. And men have less scruple in offending one who is beloved than one who is feared. For love is preserved by the link of obligation, which, owing to the baseness of men, is broken at every opportunity for their advantage. But fear preserves you by a dread of punishment which never fails. All right, paragraph 2. Take 1 minute. What is Machiavelli saying in paragraph 2? All right, let's come back here as a group. Paragraph number 2. Again, a lot of fancy language. This is definitely a college level text that we're reading. What is Machiavelli saying in that second paragraph? Martha.
He's basically saying that people won't talk like about you if you're feared. They'll talk nicely about you, but if you're liked, they'll talk bad about you. They'll talk against you. And he's saying that people are just with you on good times, but when the bad times come, you only have their words and not their actions.
Yeah, why is it better for people to be afraid of you if you're the king? Yeah, Wendy.
Because, well, everyone wants to be on the good side of the king if they're feared, and so they're scared if they say something with someone in hopes of getting on the good side of the king, they'll go and tell them, and obviously, like, repercussions will be, like, taken.
Yeah, that's the key right there. Repercussions. So if you're afraid of me, let's say I'm the king. If you like me, you might not be too scared to rebel against me if you start to not like me. But if you're scared of me, why might you be unlikely to rebel? Yeah.
Because you're probably most likely going to punish me.
Exactly. If I hear that Martha's planning a rebellion, guess what's going to happen to Martha? If I'm the dictator, she's gone. Right? Off with her head, exactly. Let's go to paragraph number 3. There's only 5 paragraphs here. All right, paragraph number 3. Nevertheless, a prince ought to inspire fear in such a way that if he doesn't win love, he avoids hatred. So that's key right there. He avoids hatred. Because he can endure very well being feared whilst he's not hated, which will always be as long as he abstains from the property of his citizens and subjects and from their women. So don't take your citizens' women and don't take their property. Because then they'll hate you and then they will rebel. But when it is necessary for him to proceed against the life of someone, meaning execute someone off with their head, he must do it on proper justification and for manifest cause. But above all things, he must keep his hands off the property of others, because men more quickly forget the death of their father than the loss of their patrimony, of their land. Besides, pretexts for taking away the property are never wanting. For he who has once begun to live by robbery will always find pretext for seizing what belongs to others, but reasons for taking life, on the contrary, are more difficult to find and sooner lapse. But when a prince is with his army and is under control of a multitude of soldiers, then it is quite necessary for him to disregard the reputation of cruelty, for without it he would never hold his army united or disposed to its duties. All right, with your partner, what is the main idea of paragraph number 3?
So that you're unlikely.
Basically, don't be
Well, not really likable, but respected to an extent.
Basically, like, it's kind of like respect.
They're watching.
It's more like, don't disrespect. I would just because I guess like during this time there was